If you're here, that means you want to get yourself some raging biceps. And I'm here to help you do that. Even if you're not genetically gifted like me and having small as shit arms, I know how to make them grow anyways. There's a few things you're gonna learn. How to warm up the specific muscle, how to isolate the specific muscle, and how to give it proper recovery. I'll also give you a few other tips on how to make the muscle look a lot bigger than it actually is. So without further ado, this is X Dietetics. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What's going on, everybody? So today we're starting off with decline close grip bench. To set this up, just like a bench press, pull your shoulder blades into the bench and give yourself a decent arc in your back. The arc shouldn't be as severe as it is for a flat bench, since you're in a decline position anyways, but this is just to reduce the risk of injury. Have your palms placed a little narrower than your shoulders, and if this causes you any pain, just widen the grip. Then put the pressure of the weight on the outer fleshy part of your hand, the muscle below your pinky, and keep that pressure on your hand all the way through the movement. Lift off and aim the bar towards your sternum or right below your chest. You should start to feel pressure on the back of your arms and then just warm up with the lower weight until you can start to feel that pressure. And then start the working set of 4 sets of 8 to 10. Moving on to tricep pushdowns now, notice how I'm starting to go very slow when I bring up the weight. This is called the eccentric part of the movement, and if you have control over this, there's a better likelihood for muscle development. I only need to move slow for a few reps just until I can start to feel where exactly the muscle is being worked. It'll feel like a tight burning sensation. Also, notice how my hands are open when I'm pushing down. This is to take away the forearms being worked. Removing them from the movement helps with the mind-muscle connection, which is essential for just the overall growth, and making sure you're feeling that tight burning sensation. Moving on to biceps now, the first exercise that we're going to do is a preacher curl. So what I like to do is superset the wide grip with the short grip in one long set. Now, my biceps are nothing to brag about, but since starting this training style, I went from 12-inch arms to 14-inch arms in about a little over 6 months, and they're still growing. So in order to help focus on your biceps, I have 2 tips. 1, keep your palms open. Just like the triceps exercise before, keep your palms open when curling so you don't work your forearms and take it completely away from your biceps. And 2, your wrists should curl too. So this is weird to explain, but when your biceps are fully extended at the bottom of a movement, your wrists should be parallel to your forearms. But when your biceps reach the peak of their movement, your wrist should be perpendicular to the forearms, meaning that as you're curling up, your wrist should be bending away from you, allowing further range of motion for your biceps. So now we're just moving on to regular cable curls. So in the last movement, we focused on curling our wrists and making sure that we could feel it in our biceps. For these, because there's a cable moving continuously with us, we can go a little bit further down, and we don't actually have to curl those wrists as much. It's always a constant stimulation, so you don't really have to focus on that. You can see that I'm actually bringing it up to my nose sometimes, and that's just to help with the peak. And honestly, that's all there is to it. There isn't really much to this movement besides keeping it steady. And finally, for our last movement, we're supersetting tricep overhead presses with alternating dumbbell curls. To start the overhead press, make sure the weight is something that you can handle. This exercise can put a lot of strain on your elbow joints and your rotary cuff, so safety is a #1 priority here, guys. Once you've established that weight, bring it over your head and let the weight down in a controlled manner. And then when you're pushing the weight back up, keep your elbows tucked towards your body. Stop just before you lock out your elbow and then squeeze. And make sure not to lock out your elbows or it could lead to an annoying injury. So now moving on to alternating dumbbell curls here. The main tip for this movement is to make sure your wrists are supinating towards your body. So if we're talking about your left hand, at the bottom of the movement, your thumb should be facing in front of you. But at the top of the movement, your thumb should be facing towards your left. Make sure that when you reach the bottom of the movement, that you flex your triceps. And this just allows you to fully extend your biceps to their potential. And guys, honestly, that's all I have for you now. Make sure after you're done with your workout that you stretch appropriately. This will help make sure that your muscles are resting properly and allowing them to grow. It's making sure that fibrotic tissue doesn't grow over top of the muscles, and honestly, that's what makes it hard for muscles to continually grow. And especially if you're working them out repeatedly, something like arms. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I would tell you guys how to make your arms appear bigger than they are. And I do know how to do this, and it's stupid, honestly. But what I do is, since I have wider lats, okay, when I'm posing, I'll rest my tricep on my lats, essentially pushing them outwards. And then for my biceps, I make sure that I have a good shoulder pump. And the insertions on the anterior delt dictates how big your biceps seem. So if your shoulder is pumped, it'll pop really well. So guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video or if you learned anything new, please like and subscribe. I will be in Los Angeles in T-minus 5 days to work at the Gymshark booth. So I will be documenting everything, including the Gymshark athletes. So stick around if you want to know what it's like to work for an awesome company like Gymshark. And guys, Happy New Year. I'm going to be uploading as much as I can. And thank you for watching. Have a good one.